Something in you already knows that the way you were taught to think about money is not the whole truth. You have felt it in the unease that follows a rushed decision, in the quiet that comes when the noise finally stops, in the part of you that suspects there is a simpler, more grounded way to move through all of this. That feeling is not weakness. It is wisdom, and it has been waiting for something worthy of it. There is a question that lives underneath every financial decision a person will ever make, and almost no one asks it out loud. Not which coin, not when to buy, not how much. The question is, who are you when things get uncertain? Because they will get uncertain. They always do. And how you answer that question will shape everything far more than any market ever will. That is where we begin. And what I am about to share with you is called Qz Cor. Quartz and heart. Now, quartz is one of the oldest minerals on Earth. It forms under pressure over time into something clear and solid and lasting. Not fragile, not random, structured. Heart is the first sound any of us ever hear. Before any language, before thought, before the world told us what money was and what we were worth, the heartbeat was already there. Already steady, already true. A structured heart. That is what this is. Not a heart that chases, not a heart that panics. A heart that has learned to keep its rhythm when the ground shifts beneath it, because the ground will shift, and the people who make it through are not the ones who saw it coming. They are the ones who were already built for it. Long before there were markets, there was a thing called exchange. One person offered what they had grown, another offered what they had built, and in that moment, between two sets of hands, something moved that had nothing to do with profit and everything to do with trust. Gold was not chosen as a symbol of wealth because it was rare. It was chosen because it does not rust, it does not rot. It does not become something other than what it is when things get hard. Every king, every civilization, every sacred structure from the beginning of recorded history reached for the same metal when it wanted to say this is real and it will last. Cryptocurrency is not a rejection of that idea. Underneath all the noise and speculation and fear is actually trying to recover it, to move between people without a middleman taking a cut, without a gatekeeper deciding who gets to participate. The river does not ask where it is going. It simply moves because moving is its nature. What you breathe in, you breathe out. What the earth receives, it returns. Exchange is not a modern invention. It is built into the fabric of living things. And what Qz Cor is here to do is help you enter that exchange with the clarity and the steadiness that has always been required before a person earns their seat at the table. Now, this image you are looking at was brought into form by Sophaea Tamara, the woman beside me, my sacred partner in this work and in this life. Nothing you see was placed there by accident. Nature does not create without the feminine, and neither does this. What she built with her hands and her vision, I will now walk you through, because every symbol she chose carries a meaning older than the financial world and together they tell you exactly what this work is about. The crown of thorns sits at the top of the image above everything else. In every tradition that has ever carried this symbol, it marks someone who understands that real authority does not come from power or money or status. It is earned through endurance, through choosing to stay present when staying present costs something. The crown of thorns does not say, "I never suffered." It says, "I have walked through it, and I am still here, and I am still standing." That is the kind of strength we are building toward. The dragon rises beneath it, formed of gold and fire. In the oldest stories, long before the dragon became the bad guy, it was the guardian. The one standing at the gate between the unprepared and the sacred, asking one question before letting anyone through. Do you know what you are carrying, and do you deserve to carry it? The dragon does not move for urgency. It does not step aside for greed or fear. It only moves when something true has been recognized. And when it does, it becomes the most powerful ally you could ever have. The egg is the golden vessel sitting at the center of it all. Across every ancient culture on every continent, the egg is the symbol of the Divine Mother, of creation waiting to happen, of life before it has shown its full shape. It does not rush. It does not force itself open before the time is right. What is held inside is real and whole and patient. Not because it is weak, but because it knows the right conditions have to come first. This is the principle behind everything we do. Foundation before structure, understanding before action. What is properly held will reveal itself fully when the moment arrives. The rose sits at the heart of the egg. She is the eternal symbol of the feminine principle, of love, of value in its truest form. She has been called Aphrodite, Inanna, Isis. A different name in every age, on every continent, because every civilization that has ever existed has recognized her and searched for a word worthy of her. She is not Western. She is not Eastern. She is the dance itself, the spiral, the force that decides what is worth having, worth protecting, worth building toward. The rose placed at the center of the vessel of creation is telling you something simple. What you are about to grow, grow it from love. Not from fear of missing out, not from the hunger of not having enough, from a real and honest sense of what you value and why, because what is built from love lasts in a way that what is built from fear never can. The emerald keystone is the green set inside the gold. Nature placed inside structure. A keystone is a single stone at the top of an arc that holds the whole thing together. Take it out and everything falls. It is not the biggest stone. It is not the most visible, but everything depends on it. The emerald placed as that stone is saying the thing that holds all of this together is not cleverness or timing or strategy. It is your connection to what is real and natural and grounded. Build from that and the structure holds. And the Eye of Horus is a symbol I carry throughout the work of Qz Cor. The eye that sees through walls. In ancient Egypt, Horus was the falcon god. The one who could look at both the visible world and the unseen world with the same clear sight. His eye was not the eye of judgment. It was the eye of honest perception, of seeing what is actually there, rather than what fear or excitement wants you to see. In this work, the Eye of Horus is the ability we help you build. To look at the market, at your own habits, at the information in front of you, and see it clearly without panic, without fog, without the distortion that costs people so much. Clarity, safety, digital mastery. The eye sees through walls, so you do not have to walk into them. Gold and green, the lasting and the living. This is not a contradiction. This is a covenant. There's a story that has never stopped being told because it has never stopped being needed. A king who did not sit above his companions, but among them. A round table with no head and no foot, because the shape of the table itself was the message. Every voice carries weight here. Every person who sits here was chosen not for what they own, but for what they are willing to be when the moment asks something of them. Most people who enter the world of finance enter it alone. They research alone, they decide alone, they carry their losses alone. And when things go wrong, as they sometimes do, they have no one beside them who speaks straight, who does not profit from their confusion, who simply says, here is what I see, here is what I know, here is the next honest step. That kind of company is not a luxury. It is the oldest form of wealth there is. Now let us speak clearly with you, because that is what we owe you. Most people who lose money in crypto do not lose it because they picked the wrong coin. They lose it because they moved before they understood their own patterns. The way fear dresses itself up as urgency, the way a fallen number can make a perfectly rational person do something they will spend months trying to explain to themselves afterward. Crypto is volatile. The structure you bring to it does not have to be. And structure is not something you build after the pressure hits. It is something you build before, in the calm, in the clarity, before the market opens and that noise begins. This is a guided way into that world, built on understanding before action, on safety before movement, on knowing where you actually stand before you take a single step forward. In a private session with us, the work is focused and direct. We start by honestly looking at where you are, what you know, what you think you know, and what you have been missing. We find the blind spots that cost people the most, not because those people were foolish, but because no one ever sat with them and helped them see clearly before they moved. We give you a structure you can actually use, not a list of coins, not a promise of returns, a real and honest path forward that belongs to you and fits your life. The 30-minute entry session is where that clarity starts. A focused conversation that cuts through the confusion and gives you one honest next step. For those ready to go deeper, the full 90-minute private session covers setup, safety, the common mistakes that take years to recover from, and the personal framework that turns crypto from an overwhelming gamble into a real and structured part of how you take care of what you have built. Again, we do not sell coins. We do not promise returns. We do not push decisions made in haste or in fear. QZ Cor exists for one reason, to make sure that when you move with clarity, with safety, and with real understanding, because that is what has always separated the ones who last from the ones who just got lucky. What you build here, if you build it with intention, is not only for you. The old world understood something about taking care of what you have been given that the modern world has mostly forgotten. The person who held the land held it not just for themselves, but for the ones who would come after. The wealth they built was not a measure of their status, it was a measure of their care, for their household, for their people, for the ground beneath all of it. You are building something. Maybe you do not yet know exactly what shape it will take. Maybe the uncertainty of this moment feels bigger than the vision. That's exactly when structure matters most. Not as a cage, but as a foundation. as the thing that holds steady when everything else moves. The heartbeat running through this is not decoration. It is a reminder that before all of this, before the wallets, before the markets, before the first question about which direction things are moving, there was already something in you that was steady. Quartz and heart, structured and living, old world and moving. This is QZ Cor. Through the postern, home, the House of Rose.